and welcome to the Green School Bali Virtual Open Day. My name is Kate and I'm really excited to be your host for this time together that we have today. I am the Head of Community and Environment at Green School, so I look after a lot of the elements of the school that are a little bit different, about how we come together as a community, how as parents we can get involved in the school, and a few other bits and pieces. I'm really delighted to be able to host this session where we get to share a little bit more about who we are and what we do here, and also hear from you, answer your questions along the way. I'm also the mum of 3 Green School children that have all graduated from Green School, and I have been with this wonderful community for quite a long time now, about 14 years or so. So I have a lot to share, I hope, but the good news is so do some other people that are going to be joining me here today. Let's take a little look at the program. We can see what is coming up for you and who you are going to get to connect with today. So there's our program. So after the opening piece, I'm going to introduce you to a good friend and colleague of mine, Mads, who is joining me here on the bamboo settee. We're going to have a little mini Q&A, so that is your chance to ask some questions directly of Mads and myself. So I'm really looking forward to that. Keep those questions in mind. Then we're going to look at our curriculum in a little more detail. So we've prepared a package for you that really helps explain piece by piece, layer by layer, the Green School way of teaching and learning. Then we are going to have the chance to connect directly with some of our educational leaders here in the school, a special session before we come back, reconnect and bring things to a close. So that's what we've got lined up for you today. I hope it's useful. Today is all about sharing what we know with you, being open and honest, and also hearing from you the things that are important to you, your child's education. As we go through the session today, at any point, at every point, please open the chat function and put some questions in there. You can ask us anything. What's on the menu at Green School in the cafes here? What sports do you play? What is your approach to homework? You can ask us anything you like and we will do our best to answer. So to help me with some of those questions and answers, let me introduce my friend and colleague, Mads. Here he is.
Hello. Hi, Kate.
How are you today, Mads?
I am excellent. Thank you so much, Kate.
It's getting towards the end of the school day here. Have you had a good day?
Yeah, I've had a super nice day here at Green School. Maybe you can see here in the background that it's coming to 3 p.m. here in Bali, and some of the students you might see passing in the background, they're just exiting campus after a long and lively day here at Green School.
That's right. So you might see them, you might hear from them too. So we like to keep things real here on the campus. So yes, you might see a few students pass by in the background here. And we are located here on our beautiful campus, which is, of course, has to be seen to be believed. It really is something else. And we are right between sort of the high school campus area and one of our food outlets. And right behind us is our community innovation hub.
Yeah, so our campus, as you can see here in the background, is very green, very open. Everything is made out of bamboo. So this is really also what our classrooms look like. So it's actually a quite good setting we're in here, Kate, because it resembles what students they see and what setting they're in every day.
That's right. That's right. Mads, and I know I've heard you say to people in our community, your door is always open, which I always find amusing because there literally are no doors. So we are wide open. Mads, why don't you share a little with our friends there where you're from, who's in your family, what you do here at Green School?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Mads and I am originally from Copenhagen, Denmark, and I transitioned here with my family around 5 years ago. So like most of the parents here in our community, we were looking for a different experience as a family, definitely a different experience in education, and chose to come here to Bali and relocate our entire family, uproot our lives and test out Bali and Green School. And I've been hanging around here for almost 6 years now. So of course it's been a wonderful experience. I have 2 kids, one still in Green School here in our grade 12. And then I have a son who graduated a couple of years ago and now are working in a startup in Melbourne. So I work here at Green School with admissions and communication.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks so much, Mads. Wearing a couple of hats there, which is always a nice way to roll. So between us, we have a lot of history at Green School, a lot of experience. We're on the leadership team here, but of course we're also parents. So my children have all graduated from Green School as well. My youngest started a long time ago in our early years program back in Kindy, and he graduated a couple of years ago. So, but we're still here, absolutely loving it. And that's what today is all about, to share with you as much as we can in an honest and open way what we're all about at Green School. And I think Mads touched on this. It's not lost on us that most families that join our school move country, just like Mads did. I did too, to join the Green School Bali community. So that's a big decision. Right, Mads? It's a big decision, a lot of things to consider, a lot of things come into the mix in making that. So really getting to know families is important. But maybe you can share a little about the experience of living in Bali, like as a family, and raising children here in Bali.
Yeah, of course, Kate. So as I shared, then my family and I, we relocated here some years ago, and coming to Bali is really a unique experience, not just in terms of attending Green School, but also relocating as a family. There's everything to consider around, uprooting your life, maybe changing career, and of course, finding a great place to stay here in Bali. So it really is not just a challenge for the young people coming here, but also, a bit of a different lifestyle for sure for a family settling in here. Bali is, of course, a different environment from what I was used to. First of all, it's 30 degrees hotter, and some things take a little bit more time in terms of things like going to the bank, making sure you get organized in different ways was quite different for my family and myself. But we really do enjoy it. There are so many benefits of living here in Bali, being so close to nature, and of course, being here at Green School in nature every day is a huge plus.
Right. So, yeah, good insights, Mads. And we know that many of you might be thinking about, is Green School the right educational choice for your child, the right option? But also, is Bali the right place to be? And what does it mean to live there? And one of the beautiful things about the Green School experience, which you might not get from the website or otherwise you might have come across Green School, is really the sense of community. So we know, like, building connections between families and right across our different neighbourhoods of learning and different communities within the community, that we feel connected to each other. We feel grounded here to Bali. We're respectfully connected to Bali, but also we feel a sense of being part of a family away from family. It's really important to us at the school, always has been, always will be. And so we put a lot of love and attention into that, supporting new families to settle in, but also to come together as a community, to celebrate together, to showcase learning, celebrate student learning, learn from each other. There's a lot that goes into that. It's part of the kind of unique Green School experience, I think it's fair to say. So just a little bit about the structure of the school. Mads, we have 4 different learning neighbourhoods. Maybe you can walk us through that. Yeah, we do. So Green School is a K-12 school, which means that our youngest learners, they start here at Green School when they are turning 3 years old. They start in our Geckos program. And then the school caters to all year groups up to grade 12 when you graduate high school at the age of approximately 18. So we are around 500 students here on the Green School campus. We have 46 different nationalities represented in our student cohort at the moment. So very, very diverse. And most of the families that are here with us, almost 80%, they have relocated here to Bali because of Green School. So we take extra care of the families and all the dialogue coming in here, of course. We know it's very important to feel safe and settled throughout that process of relocating to Bali. And in terms of the learning neighborhoods you asked about, Kate, we have 4. We have our early years program, which covers our Geckos starting in Kindy, so that's ages 3 up to 5. Then we have our primary school, grades 1 to 5. We have middle school, grades 6 to 8. And then our high school program is a 4-year program from grades 9 up to grade 12. So that's the composition of the school. Very nice. Very nice overview. And of course, here on the campus, each learning neighbourhood has their own space on the campus. So we come together in different spaces. We have a lot of shared facilities, like our maker space, which is right behind Mads and I here, where students of all ages will go in. A lot of shared zones for learning and facilities, but each learning neighbourhood has their own space on the campus. It's really purpose designed for them, for their age and stage of development, but all there to create a sense of feeling safe, secure, connected to the environment, and also connected to each other. So communities within the communities. A lot of intentionality at Green School around that. But when we stand back and look at the whole campus, it's quite rugged. It's quite rugged, it's very beautiful. We tried to preserve what was here first and enrich the ecology, but also create spaces for learning, buildings and structures and play spaces that are really great for kids' development and growth. So that's part of the method to the madness behind our kind of campus design here, which really needs to be seen to be believed.
And I think, Kate, it's also worth mentioning that, of course, we have 4 different learning neighborhoods, and as Kate said, these are really purposeful in terms of the year groups they cater to. But we also have quite a lot of learning going on across the different learning neighborhoods in order for our students to interact with each other. That's everything from assemblies to making sure that the programs are co-led and integrate across the year groups. But it's also individual projects like, for instance, our high schoolers helping out with designing a new playground in primary school. So working together as students on different projects is really something we like to make sure can happen here at our big campus.
We do like that. We love that. We love seeing the older students working with the younger students. They really rise to that. They really rise to be role models in that sense, and for our younger students too. It's really exciting for them to get time with some of our high school students. So we love all of those connections. And of course we have a 5th learning neighbourhood in some ways, which is Green Camp. It's a sister program to the school. It sits right beside the school or right across the river from us, and they're open year round for school groups, but also for family camps and kids camps. And I'm sure the team are probably putting the link to Green Camp Bali in the chat there. You can check out the programs that they have on offer. But the learning is not just for the children, it's for all of us. So we love the idea that we're a community of learners. So that means the grown-ups as well, the teachers and the parents. And Mads, we have a lot on offer for parents as well. So we really want them to be part of the school, part of the community, not just partners in their own child's learning, but we want them to take on their own opportunities to learn and also share back with us what can they teach us, our community, other parents and students as well.
Yeah, that's true, Kate. So of course Green School is for the students, but we also have what we call Green School for Grown-ups, which is basically the way that parents get engaged here on campus. And as you said, Kate, this is can be done in multiple ways. We have a great co-working space for parents that's open throughout the school day. So you would see many parents hanging out in that space, working remotely, having talks, enjoying some of the many parent clubs that are available. But also we use that space for some of the intergenerational learning that we try to instill here at Green School. So when our students are doing different projects, then often they would pitch these project ideas at an early stage in front of a parent audience in order to get advice, to get a mentor. So whether you want to build a bamboo yurt, or if you want to make sure there's charging stations for electrical scooters on campus, or you have some other crazy idea to do a school project, there's always an opportunity to find a good mentor in the parent community as well. So that's something that we work consciously towards.
Yeah, we would love that. It's such part of the story, the narrative of the school since the beginning is a contribution that parents have made here. And we absolutely love that, and look for ways for parents to be part of the experience and contribute in their own way. So it's really exciting. And Mads, I think, right now we're sort of at a point where we're really reflecting on where we've gotten to as a school and where we're going over the next 3 to 5 years. So it's an exciting time for the school. We're building a brand new laboratory here on the campus, a regenerative design laboratory, which I don't think any other school in the world has one of those, if I'm not mistaken, Mads.
No, true. So we are first school in the world with this kind of regenerative lab that we are building at the moment and introducing to all our students across all learning neighborhoods coming into the new school year that's starting in August. That's really, our next step in the evolution of sustainability. We've been all about sustainability since we started, but we feel it's time now to step up and take a step further. And we're going to integrate that into our learning program starting in August. So that's going to be super exciting.
Yeah, it's great. And the physical laboratory, in some ways, even though we have science labs here as well on the campus, and we also have actually a clean room. We work with mycelium and algae, so all kinds of cool things and cool facilities at the campus. But this will be a new addition to the mix, and it's really the learning, the program that goes alongside the lab that will be exciting for our students. So really pride ourselves on kind of pushing the boundaries somewhat on education and how we can make it real, how we can make it relevant, how we can integrate subjects around something that's meaningful and relevant for a young person to get excited about. And very much focused on the development of skills. So, having students that have agency, feel a sense of accountability, but also have that responsibility instilled in them to take the opportunities that the school provides to be creative and collaborative and to be innovative and experiment and, put themselves out there. That's what we're about. I mean, it occurs to me that, children that are joining grade 1 or grade 2 will be graduating in 2036. The world is moving fast. So we're very much focused on what skills do children need, do young people need, what do they need to be equipped with to head out into the world and not only survive, but actually thrive, make the most of opportunities, make a positive contribution, feel a sense of satisfaction with what they're doing with their life. That's what we're about at Green School. We're not a perfect school, but this is a model that's been working since 2008 and continues to innovate in this space. So we're really excited. So back to you, my friends out there. A question for you is really, what are you looking for in a school? Is Green School something you might like to consider? Are we right for you? What's most important to you? And that's what today is about. So please don't hesitate once again to put some questions in the chat. We would be really happy to take them, especially if there's some young people on the call, some children. We'd love to hear from them as well. As I said earlier, you can ask about anything at all. The food, the sport. Actually, let me ask you, Mads, what's the food like at Green School?
Well, we have different options. Students can they can bring their own lunch. They have an opportunity to order from home. So it's actually being freshly prepared and then brought into each classroom in heat boxes. So you can simply pick and choose whatever you like and what your student prefers. And then we also have some different vendors here on campus that are providing anything from the best coffee in Bali to slushies and healthy snacks. And even if sometimes you need to, bump up breakfast because you went out the door a little too fast in the morning, there's also an option to do that in a couple of places here. So food is really diverse, of course, locally prepared and always fresh. So that's one of the key assets here. We do value nutrition, and it's accessible at many points here.
We do. Yeah. And coconuts, always plenty of coconuts.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so you can see school's out. People are milling around behind us here, making their way out at the end of a beautiful day here at the school. But right now, Mads, I think we're going to sign off, or you're going to sign off. I'm going to say goodbye for a minute. We are going to go to a package of information that has been put together for you on the Green School curriculum. You will be hearing from Dan. He is our head of curriculum, and he holds all of that together for our school, and he is going to explain to you the Green School way. So I'm going to leave you with Dan in just a moment. Mads, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Always nice to be here on the Bamboo setting.
Fantastic. What's on for you next?
Well, up for me next is I am going to sit with one high school student that I'm trying to help with a Greenstone project. The key project that they are going to do. Yeah, it's a bit of mentoring. That's up for me now.
Great. It's so lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a real treat to get to mentor some students. So, all right, well, thank you so much, Mads. You go off and do your good magic mentoring work. We're going to cross to Dan next, and then I will see you again on the other side of that with two more friends that are going to join me on the Bamboo Settee to answer your questions. So we'll see you soon.
We do have a really unique and special curriculum here at Green School Bali. And again, that comes with a little bit of complexity. So please, like Kate said, if you have questions along the way, put them in the chat and I'll see if I can do my best to answer them. But who we are at Green School Bali, at our core of everything we do, not only just in our curriculum, but who we are as people and how we interact, is we are people here and we're a community of learners all together making the world sustainable. That really encompasses all of our action, all the curriculum and materials we teach in class. You feel that mission when you're here, you understand that mission when you're in the classrooms, and that is truly at the core of what we do here at Green School Bali. In terms of a structured curriculum that you would see in other places around the school, this is what the Green School Bali's version looks like. So this is actually called our Green Literacies Framework. And it's a snapshot. You're not supposed to be able to see all the words on here, but it gives you an overview of our bespoke curriculum, which has things on there that you might recognize, such as chemistry, physics, reading and writing, but also has some things truly unique to us. Things like sustainable development, climate change, ethics, and these are all things that we truly value as important in our students' learning process and something that we hope to develop from our youngest years all the way up to our oldest years. So although we do have alignment with aspects of curriculum from across the world or anywhere you may be coming from, we also look to bridge and go beyond and create opportunities that truly align with who we are as a school and what our mission is. Now, that's a bit of what we learn, but it's how we learn that makes us truly unique. And there are two things I want to talk about. One is experiential learning, some of us might be familiar with, and that is literally having students learn through experiences. So having them activate physically in the real world and to be able to use their senses to help retain and help build that knowledge. So whether it's touch, feel, shape, smell, really getting them outdoors beyond the classroom to help them understand that learning is a lived and physical process as well as it is just content. And secondly, we're talking about regenerative design. So we're in a space right now where we're looking to not only sustain what we are in the world, but opportunities to regenerate. So a lot of our courses now are embedded in those 4 words, those 4 S words you see at the bottom. So more than anything, when we talk about regenerative design, what we're doing is asking our students to sense, seek, shape, and storytell. So whatever activity they're embarking on, whatever experience they're going through, we ask them to sense, which is think of alternative perspectives, and that can be human and also non-human. Seeking, for them to ask further questions that they might come up with. Shaping, finding solutions to some of the problems or some of the questions that they may have, and then being able to communicate effectively about their journey or about their ideas they have. So this regenerative design process is more of a teaching philosophy that we ask students to go through to ensure that they're truly experiencing what we want them to be critically thinking about as learners, just as much as anything else. And I want to give you an example of what experiential learning looks like, and that's our Jalan Jalan program. So this is a program that is dedicated for students to choose an experience for them to do on a weekly basis that is project-based, community service-based, entrepreneurial-based, or outdoor. So what these students get to do is elect into or choose one class where they're completely out of the classroom, and the whole purpose of this is for them to experience something really unique and something that they're passionate about within their school week. And the best way to explain or show you some examples are to provide these examples and some pictures. So this Jalan Jalan program has anything from sailing to coding, to wood carving, to adventures, to bicycling, to surfing. And this is something that happens as early as grade 1 and 2, and then builds its capacity all the way up into high school. And I'll talk a little bit about how many hours of allocation this is, depending on where your student is in the school. But here are some of the awesome things that students get to embark on and do each and every week as part of their schooling here at Green School Bali. Along with this is our expectations of how we assess and students go about demonstrating their learning, which again is a lot of project-based. A lot of how we expect students to demonstrate their progress is through these projects. And these can be really summarized in watching our capstone projects that end the year in grade 5, grade 8, and grade 12. And these projects are student-led. They embark on their own ideas for anywhere between 4 months to a year, and they present their projects in a capstone TED-style presentation at the end of the school year. And what you see at the end of these projects is something extremely incredible and unique to Green School. And it shows that students, no matter if they're in grade 5 or all the way up to grade 12, can come up with some fantastic ideas themselves that they can see from start to finish. Along with these amazing concepts, we still have a strong visual arts, music, and physical well-being program. Students put on productions each year across the school. We have bands that exist from primary all the way up to high school. And we have a physical well-being or physical education program that has a sports league on Bali. So if your student is interested in sports, our students go out to other schools, or we host schools here at Green School in sports throughout the year. And these sports are anything from football to volleyball to basketball, athletics, swimming, and cross country. So a little bit of something for everyone. Our social emotional learning program is something that's been at Green School since the very beginning and has continued to develop based on societal needs and student needs. So from the age of 3, students embark on a journey of understanding themselves, regulation, relationships with their peers, and these are all embedded into our I Respect values. So that's really the root of our social emotional program. And we really try to, whether it's through mindfulness, through conversations, through activities, have students build a better understanding of who they are as a person, their relationship with others, themselves, and with the world around them. And I know we're online today, and I mentioned this at the beginning, but who we are at Green School can really only be experienced to its fullest extent when you're here on campus. Because our teachers, our community, and our commitment to our values, culture, is something that just is overwhelming when you're here on campus. It's so hard to explain, but we as a school do the best job at living out what I've just talked to you about in terms of who we are, our mission, our community. So it's something truly important for us, for you to understand that this place is really special and unique, and the aura that is felt is incredible when you step onto this campus. Now, a little bit more specific to how that looks in terms of a learning program. So I know we have parents who might have younger students or older students. So what does like the timetable or daily interaction look like for these students? In high school, we've got 4 hours each of math and literacy-based classes. And again, I talked about regenerative design or thematic learning, and these are classes that have a priority focus on math or literacy, but nothing we do here lives in a silo by itself. So these are classes that have a deeper focus in math and literacy, but include aspects of science, entrepreneurship, Bahasa Indonesia. These are all concepts that are embedded into this math or literacy program. They also have 12 hours of a combination of science, arts, Bahasa Indonesia, or social studies, 2 hours of well-being and advisory, so that's pathways or that social emotional program, and 4 hours of Jalan Jalan. Now this differs a little bit in the primary school and middle school. If we don't have the slide right now, that's fine. But you can imagine the Jalan Jalan program is slightly reduced in those classes. So you only have about 2 hours of that Jalan Jalan program in primary school, as well as you have a few less elective classes. So when you're in primary school, you have the choice as a student to choose your Jalan Jalan. As you move into the middle school, that amount of choice expands. So you begin to be able to choose your arts and your social studies classes. And then once you get into high school, you begin choosing basically 100% of your classes. So they are based around needing to fulfill credit in math-based or literacy-based classes, but students get to choose electively in high school almost 100% of your classes. And again, I've given you a brief overview of this across the school, but the best way for you to truly see what this looks like in action is for you to see a couple videos from across the school. So we have both a grade 4 thematic regenerative design based video for you and a high school Jalan Jalan. And that gives you firsthand from the teacher and students what that program is like and gives you a little bit more insight to what that might look for your student in 2 different aspects across the school. So I hope you enjoy those videos. Please put any questions you have into the chat, and me and Kate will come back and see and do our best to answer any of those questions that you had. So thank you for now, and here are the videos.
A Green School thematic class is a holistic approach to student-centered, project-based learning. And it includes connections to our proficiencies as well as all of our specialist classes. That includes personal well-being, music, art, and our very own Green Studies class.
We were all super proud and happy when we saw our kids walking down the pebble path because we were like just squealing with excitement, really.
We're preparing lessons to teach a group of grade 1 students, and we have to set up like learning assessment.
The project that I've been working on is doing math with grade 1s.
We're teaching the grade 1s how to make a fire. Because making a fire
You could use
is
if you're
good.
lost in the woods is good. If you're lost in the woods for warmth, cooking food if you're lost.
I have been working on origami for teaching the grade 1 students. Because origami is really special to me because I used to make it since I was really small.
One thing that made us proud is even if we got challenged, we just pushed, and in the end, the result was just amazing. I would like to do more projects like this, passing on my passion and inspiring other kids to do great things.
Student takeaways from this thematic unit include an understanding that their ideas and perspectives matter. They'll also have a deeper connection with their community members and an increased sense of confidence to share their learning in larger forums as future change makers.
The theme of this term is mushrooms, and more to the point, how to grow mushrooms in a laboratory setting for a lot of different experiments. We've been learning so much as a society on how we can use mushrooms for bioremediation. We're also looking at how mushrooms can be used to make materials like tabletops, chairs. There's so many applications that we can use fungi for. So we're teaching students lab techniques and what they can do. So currently, they're in the classroom right now looking at some research opportunities, looking at some experiment opportunities on what they can do. Earlier, I was showing the students inside the mushroom cap where the white mycelium is that we can use when we clone and put them in petri dishes. Not too long ago, the students were inside the lab over here and they were looking at how to pour agar-agar. We made the recipe, so we poured it out, we measured everything, put them into the autoclave, which is a fancy word for pressure sterilizer. That way it can kill any sort of contamination so that the mycelium will have an opportunity to grow exclusively.
This is all part of a high school science class. The students receive a science credit for this class, and it happens 3 days a week. We spend about 4 hours a week in this class, and the goal of the class towards the end is to have students do projects where they're able to create materials like this or grow their own mushrooms, cook with them. And so each group is going to do a new and different project and also learn some basic lab skills along with them. We have a biomaterials curriculum where students can learn about different materials that contribute to sustainability, and we believe that Green School is leading the path to take this curriculum forward.
So there's a lot of opportunity here for the students to learn some really good techniques. So when they go to university, they'll go in with an understanding of how to do things in a really scientific and proper way.
Hi, and welcome back. Thanks so much for staying with us. What was that like? What did you find out? What did you discover? I'm sure there was a lot for you to think about. I know there's a lot to absorb there in that video package, but I particularly hope those videos at the end give some life to what Dan was explaining when he was unpacking our curriculum for you. So you get a little insight into what it looks like in practice. And I don't know about you, but I want to get along to that fungi class because that looks pretty cool. And in fact, I was talking to one of those teachers yesterday who said they're now looking at how they can 3D print with mycelium products, which is a really cool next iteration. So the sky's the limit here at Green School. Speaking of the sky's the limit, so are the wonderful people here at Green School. And I have two of my dear friends, colleagues and absolute leaders in the education space to join us here today. And let me introduce them to you. I have Pat, who is the Deputy Head of Upper School, that's middle school and high school. And I also have Emily, who is the Deputy Head of Lower School, so that's primary, and our most adorable community members in early years. So welcome, Emily. Welcome, Pat.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody.
That's great. Maybe you can just introduce yourselves. Tell me how long you've been in Green School, where you're from, and maybe give me a highlight of your day. How's that?
Yeah, I can kick things off. So as Kate said, I'm Patrick. I'm the Deputy Head of Upper School. I've been here for 5 years now. Before this position, I was the Head of Physical Wellbeing and Sport. So if you have any questions about sport or ECAs at Green School, I'm happy to help there. I'm from Cornwall in the United Kingdom. And a highlight of my day, this morning, I co-teach with the Head of Upper School, Pat Benjamin, the Green School Student Association. So that's our high school student leaders, where we are working on various different projects. So students are coming up with their own ideas on how they can make improvements to the learning environment. And that's a real highlight of my day. I mean, they're looking at changing and shaping policies and procedures. They're looking to, or they are going to be organising a whole school input session later next month that brings together grade 3 and above, so grade 3 up to grade 12, coming together in small groups to continue this journey at Green School and try and make it an even better place.
So nice. So before we go to Emily, actually, I'm here to help with the translation. So Pat mentioned ECA in there. That is our extracurricular activity program, our after school activities and enrichment opportunities for our students. So yes, and the Student Association in the high school, but representing in a bigger way a lot of our students here at Green School, their voice into the direction of the school, policies at the school, projects and initiatives. They audit different things. They really are a force of nature in the school. And one of the ways we help students to have agency, have their say, but also take accountability for that piece and responsibility. So yes, very special part of the experience for the students. All right, good highlight, Pat, and thank you so much. Oh, Patrick, you introduce yourself as Patrick. I call him Pat, but okay, Patrick, Pat. All right, we can go with either. All right, and now over to you, Emily. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little about yourself, where you're from, and what was your highlight today?
So I am the Deputy Head of Lower School this year. I'm from the UK. I've been at Green School Bali for 7 years now, 7 years, which has gone very quick. Can't see myself going anywhere anytime soon. Highlights of the day. I actually get to teach some middle school mathematics. So I was with a community of mathematicians in middle school and doing some number crunching today. Another highlight was our primary school production that we have happening at the moment. They did their very first dress rehearsal, which was really exciting, and they'll be performing to the community tomorrow. And I actually spent some time in the early years playground where they were taking their learning from the iHub, and they'd created a solution using leaves, and they were blowing bubbles in the playground to extend their learning. So I learnt a little bit from our youngest learners down in the early years too. And that's been my day today.
Sounds like a lovely day. It sounds like a lovely day, Emily. And everybody here at Green School, no matter what their role on the leadership team, also does some teaching, because that keeps us connected to the students and what is real and what is most important here in our school. Now, another point of translation, iHub, Emily mentioned the iHub, that is our innovation hub or our makerspace. And so on the campus, we're organised into 4 learning neighbourhoods with early years, primary, middle and high. And we share the campus together, although everyone has their own zone, their own learning neighbourhood that's kind of been especially designed for that age and stage. But lots of shared facilities, including our makerspace, which everyone can go into, parents included, and also our little ones, our early years students also spend quite a bit of time in the Innovation Hub. It's a very hot and popular destination on the campus, literally hot sometimes, but hot as in popular is what I meant in there. Okay, so now, folks, this session is for you. So please do open the chat and pop some questions in if you have some. If you have a child with you, a young person, hello. We would love to hear from you. If you have a question, please put that in the chat or ask your mum and dad, your caregiver, to put that question in for you. We would love to hear from you, whether it's about sport, languages, what we eat here at Green School, living in Bali, whatever it might be. No question too big or too small. So get chatting in the chat there. Now, my friends, I have a couple of questions that have come in already. So Pat and Emily, I would ask you a little bit about STEM. So we have a question here about the advanced STEM curriculum. We don't necessarily think of STEM in that way or using that acronym, but I think to kick things off, you would have had a taste of how we do that in that video that you saw, where the students, the teachers were working with mycelium in that clean room, in that lab space that was going on there. But we see this come through in lots of different thematic units, project units, integrated studies, in our innovation hub, and in individual projects that the students work on, where they're drawing on a lot of what they've learned here at the school and bring it to fruition in an actual project. So Emily, maybe we can have a little think about our footprints projects, because it's a great way to think about how STEM comes through and shines when a student is at grade 5, finishing their primary journey and getting ready to present. So I know we've had students work a lot with different designs and different innovations in that space. Do you have any that particularly come to mind in footprints?
There's such a range of projects that happen down in the lower school when it comes to footprints, anything related to surfing and passions in that space. We had a student who recognized that the glue guns that we were using at school were basically creating plastic. So they went on a journey of how can they create reusable glue using natural products from the environment. So that's another example of connecting with the community and the natural environment and trying to create a solution to something that we don't want to create in our environment.
Brilliant. Actually, it's a brilliant example, and I think on this question about how advanced can that learning go, then it's really about like how the student's own sort of motivation, curiosity and interest, and then us matching that and supporting it and fueling it with all the know-how that we can draw on from our community, while leaving the child to own the project themselves, not take over the project, but be right behind them to support with potentially resources or advice, or even just asking questions sometimes, just to help them continue to iterate and experiment. And I know for that student, she prototyped and developed hot glue gun sticks, the glue that you put in there, that actually worked. It was really brilliant, and we're using that in the school. So amazing example, and the child really owned that as their project, rather than the learning being sort of foisted on them as the empty vessel to be filled, but rather taking it in a direction that they were interested in and passionate about. And we got to celebrate that as a community. And so how about like in the upper parts of the school, Pat, in terms of project-based learning? Maybe you could talk a little about that.
Yeah, so firstly, what jumps out with that question is the word advanced a little bit as well. So the way we structure our classes, we do have some advanced classes, some kind of entry level, intermediate level classes. So students are on a journey to acquire their credits during their time at Green School. And there are a lot of different options for them throughout their time here. So we do have advanced classes. As you said, Kate, we don't necessarily use the term STEM, but our teachers are highly skilled at planning, especially project-based learning for all grades in upper school, that link to the concept of STEM. And we're fortunate actually, because you're very much involved in Greenstone. So I don't know if there are any projects this year in particular that stand out to you that are linked to STEM?
Absolutely. So we have students working on a hydrogen fuel solution. So actually building motors and building a solution there, which is amazing. All done themselves, really. Lots of experimentation, failure, review, and rebooting of projects. So I think that's exciting. We have students looking at paints and what goes into making paints and the chemicals that are used, where they're derived from, what that means for the earth, for the planet, what that means for humans as well. So looking at, so they're an artist, but they're really looking at the materiality of art and what can be some better solutions actually derived from waste products. So amazing kind of investigation, proper research as part of this. It's not just embarking on your own project when you're in high school. It really is about doing the research to back up what it is that you're trying to investigate or problem that you are trying to solve. So, but I think we could talk a lot about that for a long time, but I'm excited to see we also have some other questions in here. We also have a chicken that's just wandered into the room. So I'm just loving that. They're not on the screen yet, but they're around our feet here. So keeping us grounded here. Okay, so I have a question here from Tia and Turner. Hi. Asking if it's possible to incorporate the Green School with a local school in our country if we stay just in a year. So they would be coming into grade 6 next August. I think this question, if I've understood it correctly, might be about transitions in and out of the school. So if you came for 1 year, what does that mean? So just want to kick that off by letting people know that 1 year is the minimum enrolment period. We love people to stay longer than that to really get more value from the experience here at the school. But we do have families that sometimes come just for 1 year. Wherever you're moving in the world, or even within a country sometimes, the sequencing of timing and exactly what's covered when can look different. So no two schools are really the same in that sense, or no two systems of education are the same in that sense. So there's always going to be a little difference there. And so when students come into the school and when they go out, they might find they're a little ahead or a little behind in one area or another, but not wildly so. What we love and what we celebrate, and what families that have left us tell us, is that the points of difference that they see in their young person having spent some time at Green School, and those things are really clear, and it is around their sense of being part of a global community. So the experience of being in an international community here, but also they're learning about the world in a way that seems to be quite special. So understanding their place in a bigger universe of things, which is something that our parents say stands out. Their ability for their child to communicate in a compelling way and in a confident way is a point of difference as well. Their creativity and their thoughtfulness and mindfulness around sustainability and environmental practices that they want to put in place in their own lives and in their own families' lives. So there's some of the things that we know are real points of difference and strength in our students. We really have quite a focus on the development of skills, and we love to see that come through. Academically, in terms of where they are when they come in and go out, maybe Emily, you can speak to that a little bit in terms of how we accommodate different, or how we differentiate within a classroom for students joining us.
Yeah, I can speak to that. In the lower school, we're very used to students joining us from different places around the world. The most important thing for us is to get to know the student as an individual and the family. Mm-hmm. We don't compare in the lower school students against each other. Rather, we're looking at what experience are they joining us with, and how can we support their growth as an individual learner at Green School. So we spend a lot of time getting to know the students and building relationships before we embark on the journey of growth through learning, knowing that when they feel safe in an environment, that's when they're ready to learn. So we're looking at the individual learners, where they've come from, and how we can support their individual growth, really.
Yeah, wonderful. Great. Well, I hope I got that question right, Tia and Turner. But please let me know, jump in the chat if you need some further clarification. All right, here's another one. Is there a dress code at Green School? So, Pat, we don't have a uniform at Green School, and the word uniform says it all for us. Is part of the reason why we don't have one. So we love students to be themselves and express their own personal style through choosing what it is that they wear. We do have a dress guideline, which is fairly liberal in a lot of ways, but recognising we're here in Indonesia as well, so getting a balance there. But we ask everyone in a non-gendered way, no matter how you identify, no matter what your body type or shape, we just need you to wear something that covers your body front and back, covers your backside. It's pretty general, I think is fair to say, not too prescriptive, but respects where we are in the world at the same time. One thing I will say, and I'll apologise in advance, because if you do come to Green School, I will say sorry now for the laundry, because we create a lot of laundry here at Green School for our families, because we have this amazing campus, particularly for our younger kids.
Yes.
Right, Emily? I think in early years they insist on kids having at least 2 fresh changes of clothes in their little lockers every single day, because things get muddy, things get damp.
We have a mud pit that we encourage the students to use during their playtime. So if you have a child that likes to be in the mud, they could be muddy clothes coming home on a daily basis.
Yeah, so true. All right, brilliant. Anything else on dress?
No, I think you've covered everything. One to add, we do have a sports uniform though. So when we compete against other schools on the island, so there's 10 international schools on the island that compete in the Bali School Sport Association. In this respect, we do have a uniform, and we wear our Green School Garuda colours with pride.
Yeah, we sure do. We love that. All right, thanks so much, Pat. All right, let's go. We're getting some nice questions in here. Good job, everybody. These are great questions. Thank you. Keep them coming. All right, let's jump to one here. What proportion of attendees, or the community, let's say, what proportion of attendees to the school live? Okay, hang on. How accessible is it in terms of how... Okay. Let's talk about where we live as a community of people that attend the Green School. So I think, guys, a lot of families tend to live maybe on the Green School side of Ubud, like that part of Ubud, down south towards the beach, the coastal kind of area, and anywhere in between. And of course, right around the school, in the neighbourhood around the school as well. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, it depends on preference, I guess, and what you need in your life beyond Green School as a community. Sounds about right.
That's right. We always encourage new families. Once we know they're coming to us, there's a lot of support we give families about how to settle into Bali, and also how to ask questions where we can be of service, or the other parents that are already here can be of service and support to incoming families. But we always recommend people take temporary accommodation to start with, just to your point, Emily, just to feel their way a little bit, see what feels right for them, see where others in the class, where their friends might be living, and so on. So depending where you live, it could take you anywhere between 2 minutes and 45 minutes to get to school, depending on where you choose to live. A lot of families with younger children living in the areas right around the school, so they can walk to school, they can ride to school, and so on. So I hope that helps. We do have a bus service, and we do go to and from the campus from key pickup locations. That's the BioBus. It was started as a student project. Our buses that run on used cooking oil. Very, very cool, and a great way to ride to school. Very safe and very reliable. So for families joining us, we share the routes to the buses so they can see where they go, and that helps them in their decision on where they're going to live. Okay, so I have a juicy question here from Paul and Leeslaw, I think it is. How does the curriculum link or dovetail to British school systems if they migrated back to Europe after spending some time at Green School? There we go. Who wants to take that one?
I can kick things off.
There we go.
Being from the UK, I grew up with a certain type of curriculum, and coming to Green School, I feel very fortunate that it's given me a very broad and real perspective on not only what's going on and some of the challenges we face in society and in the world. So I think in that sense, it sets you up really well to go to wherever you're going to go to next. It gives you a palette that perhaps a lot of people don't have, and experiences that a lot of people don't have. I can speak towards our counsellor, our Pathways counsellor a little bit. So we're fortunate in the high school, Ibu Christie, she also works with some middle school students. She works very closely with students and families to help them decide what their next steps are, to talk about what we can do as a school to help the family take those next steps if they're moving, going to university, if they're going to a new country, to help break down everything they've done, to help explain the Green School transcript that they get upon leaving Green School, and just to make that transition into wherever you do go next as easy as possible. So we're very fortunate to have a very strong team and program that enables you to go to wherever you need to go next.
Yeah. So to kind of bring that together in some senses, is it fair to say, I think Green School, we try and deliver the learning in a different way here, and we really want to centre on the child, and we really want to make the learning real and relevant, so that it's meaningful for the young people, it's more engaging for the young people. It's also perhaps a more useful kind of education for the world today, or we would like to think so. So the idea that one can move like between one school system, Green School, and then back again, and they're completely in synchronicity is probably not realistic. And that's part of why we're here today, is to really share in an open way about those things. And these are great things for parents to ask us, and for parents to consider if you're thinking about coming to Green School, because we do things a little bit differently here. But we are not so alternative in what we're doing here to be completely out of the realm of what other schools or more standard schools are doing. Is that fair to say, Emily?
Yeah, and if we think about mathematics as an example, as educators, when we're planning for learning experiences, we have our eye on perhaps the UK curriculum or other international curriculums. While we have our own Green School curriculum here, we're always keeping an eye on expectations around the globe. But if it's fair to say, if in some of the classes that I teach for middle school, we teach particular concepts, but the focus is more on how can I help this learner develop as a mathematician, rather than how can I help them to tick off this learning concept that appears in the curriculum. So it's a very brief explanation of kind of where the focus might be placed. But we're always keeping an eye on those other curriculums, UK, America, wherever it might be.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. Next question from Rich. Thank you for your question. Rich would love to hear how Green School supports neurodivergent children or students with different learning or emotional needs. Great question, Rich. Thank you so much for asking that. Emily, maybe we go to you first on that question.
Yep. We have a team of educators in the lower school that work together as part of our student support team. They're there exactly for that reason, is to look at individual students who are with us within the community and how we might be able to support them as a neurodivergent learner. It can be, to be honest, a little overstimulating at times here at Green School Bali. We, as you can see, there's nature all around us, and we do have students sometimes that struggle with the noises or just the things that are happening within their periphery when they're learning. But we have lots of tools that we can help those students with to help them engage and feel comfortable within their learning environment. So our educators in the classroom are quite well versed in supporting, but we do have some additional staff members in the learning support team that are there to help them too. It's difficult to give specific strategies because everyone's different, right?
I think as a kind of general thing, where we are an inclusive school, we are an open school, like we welcome a conversation with all families, and we also celebrate that we're all divergent from each other, let's face it, at the end of the day, but we also know some of our learners need some different support or specialised support. But as Emily said, really in a classroom setting, like the way the teaching and learning is experienced, already gives some accommodation, I think, for different styles of learning, different types of learning, different personalities in the mix and interests. So to a large extent, the school is kind of set up to have a bit more breadth than perhaps we would ordinarily see for a start. And then, as Emily said, additional kind of resources that are available potentially when needed. The important thing for families is, to get to know the school and for us to get to know families that are interested in coming here too. So we can really get to understand your child who you know best, and see whether or not that is going to be a great fit for you, whether you feel that way, whether we feel that way. That's what this process of getting to know each other is all about. So please reach out to the admissions team, because I'm sure they're happy to support a process to get to know you better and answer those questions more specifically for a particular case. Okay, let's move on. Great question here from Ivania. I have got that wrong, but anyway, apologies in advance. We would like to know about which universities Green School graduates get into. Also, what is the daily schedule and where are students having lunch? Great combo question there. Let's kick off quickly with universities. I think you can have a look on our website, on our alumni page. There's a little bit of information there. But our students, since our first graduating class in 2013, have gone off to universities in every corner of the globe. I think 42 different countries, I think our students have gone on to study at a tertiary level, and 120 different universities, something like that. So a lot of names that would be very familiar to you, including Ivy League schools. Our school can get students there if that student really works to get there and wants to go there. That's the good news. On the other hand, it's not always a straightforward process depending on where that student is from and where they want to study. But as Pat said, we work hard in an individualised way to support students to get to where they want to go. So we're very good at knocking on doors, banging on doors, but also helping our students create a portfolio that really sets them apart, and that's what high school can offer. So not just an academic transcript, which can show how successful they've been in that realm, but also a portfolio of learning projects. They might have started businesses. There's all sorts of things that really set them apart from the pack, and that's what we're interested in and what we're here to do.
Yeah. And the second part was about schedule, right?
Yes.
So,
yes, schedule.
Linking to the first point, as I mentioned earlier, we have Ibu Christie, our Pathways counsellor. So on a Monday and Friday, we have a Being Human program that's led by our head of pastoral and Ibu Christie. And this starts at high school all the way through grade 9 to grade 12. And she is working with students on a group basis and individual consultations to help them on this journey to which university they want to go to, and the requirements, as you said, of that country in order to get there.
Yeah, brilliant. I absolutely love talking about our alumni. I could talk about it for the next hour, because not only have we had students go off to amazing universities, if that's what they want to do, we've had students come straight out of here and launch their own businesses, start their own foundation, do all sorts of interesting things. And I think we're learning, that the world is changing. Tertiary education is changing or not changing. Young people are finding what they need to be successful in life, and going off and doing a bachelor's degree and maybe further study is one path, but we also see students skilling up in different areas, short course here, micro degree here, internship here, and building their own base of skills and knowledge and creating opportunities for themselves and sort of circumventing the traditional route. So be warned, parents, if you bring your child to high school, they might not take the traditional path out of here, and we really celebrate that. We just want them all to be successful and really follow what they feel strongly that they want to do next, and skill them up to be the best they can be out there in the world to take the opportunities. All right, let's talk about food. What do we have to eat here on the campus? We have a few different food outlets on the campus, some amazing coffee on the campus, snacks on the campus. What's your favourite thing to have for lunch? Let's hear from you two.
I like Ibu Wee-Wick's food over at the Kukul. Yeah, it's great. I mean, we have, like you said, a lot of different options, vegetarian options. We do have some meat options if you prefer that on campus as well. So I tend to have that a couple of days a week. And then there's some really great local warungs or restaurants close by just outside of campus. So for the teachers, sometimes it's a nice little, if you're not on duty, you can get out and just, you're surrounded by, like you said, there's great coffee shops close by. And if you need a little break, I go over there a couple of times a week as well.
So we love to know where our food has come from at Green School. So we try and eat local. Well, we only eat local, actually no imported products, seasonal, organic, wherever we can get it, and cruelty-free. They're basically our guiding principles that inform what we eat, what the menus are here at the school. We also have, productive gardens. We have animals on the campus. This is all part of understanding where our food comes from. Minimising food waste, and we serve our lunch, for example, on banana leaf plates. So that can be I forget, that's an everyday thing for us, but when people come here, they think, oh, that's really cool. But we have a few different food outlets, and some of them are catered more towards the younger children, some more towards the older community members.
Yeah, I feel like the passion fruit slushies deserve its own mention on its own. So
Passion
good.
fruit slushy. Yes, you heard it here first. A hot recommendation. Come visit us on the campus. If you can come, please come over. We would love to spend some time with you, show you around and get you a passion fruit slushy.
Yes.
It's worth the trip just for that. Yeah. Yeah. Good recommendation, Emily. Thank you. All right, let's take another question here. Let's go, stick with you, Emily. How many students are typically in one class or in one grade?
Yeah. So in the primary school classes, we have anywhere between 18 and 22 students per class at the moment, and there's 2 classes per grade. So for example, in grade 4, I think there's around 20 students in one class and 21 in the other. When we go down to early years, the number is slightly smaller than that, anything up to about 18, but anything from around 12. Each class has, for early years, there's 3 teachers in the classroom. And for the primary classes, we have 2 educators, 2 teachers per classroom. So it's 4 per grade, which gives us great time with the students and lower ratios, I would say, than what you might see in other schools.
That's great, yeah. So we know class size, it's a question we often get about class size, and we know it's something that's really important to parents, but we also know that the quality of the teacher is the big part, really, in so many ways, and that as children get a bit older, like making sure a class is actually big enough to have that, you know, those social connections and those opportunities to work in teams and that sort of thing is also an important piece, right, Emily?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and having as well in the classrooms both educators, one is local and the other is international, so as a collaborative team as well. There's so many different expertise that come to the table and different cultural experiences to enrich the classroom environment.
Yeah, brilliant. And Pat, quick word from you on the upper school. What does it look like? Obviously, students are choosing a lot of courses in middle and high school. How many would you have in any class?
That's right. There's more self-advocacy from the students. So our class sizes in upper school tend to be a little bit smaller. In middle school, they tend to be around 15 to 20 in a class. For literacy, they're in their, similar to lower school, they're in their class, which is split by 2. So we might have around 20. I don't think there are any more than 40 in the middle school, total students. So
total students for a grade level,
per
and then
grade
there'd be 2
level.
classes.
So there's 2 classes, 20.
Gotcha.
For Jalans and electives, so that's where students are able to select what they want. So our electives tend to be the more creative arts. They tend to be smaller. We maybe on average around 12 there, and high school, I think most of our classes are around about 12 as well. Yeah, so smaller class sizes.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Next question. How do we integrate younger learners who may not have English as a first language? Emily, we know this is a very familiar one.
I mean, there's multiple strategies that we're trying to support them with. Often immersing in the environment can be a helpful tool. Where is that family coming from? Do we have any families on campus to help buddy up the students and find friends that speak a similar language? But then how can we incorporate strategies in the classroom to help them access learning? So a lot of it based on the projects that we're immersing ourselves in. How can we introduce language from these students' home countries that help them engage in what we're learning in the classroom? We're using a range of tools depending on where they're coming from. And the fact that we have 2 educators in the classrooms within primary, we can get to those students too. It can be challenging at times, but we see brilliant growth in the students when they're put into a bit of a challenging situation and are learning from everyday language they hear in the classroom too.
Yeah, brilliant. I think that's one of those things again where it's really like getting to know the family, you know, what your aspirations are for your child and their learning, and you know, spending some time with our admissions team and sharing about your family and where you're from, and as I said, your aspirations, and also for us to be able to share more in an individualized way, you know, how we can support and what's in place and what's not. So again, it's always about finding that best fit. It's really a 2-way kind of process. So please do reach out to the admissions team because they will be able to give you a little bit more individualized, specific information if you like. All right. let's have a look here. What is the best place to live in Bali if our child goes to Green School? So this is from Benin, who has heard that traffic is bad and was thinking of living in Sanur, but not sure if it's a good idea if their son goes to Green School. What a great question. Thank you, Benin. So thoughts about that? Sanur would be quite a hike to Green School, although I do know we have some families that do live in Sanur. It is a beautiful area. But yeah, that would be a long ride to and from school each day, and our buses don't go to Sanur either. So I think we talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the Q&A. I think deciding where to live sometimes is a bit of a process of trying different areas. We always recommend families, if they're moving to Bali for the first time, to take somewhere short term to start with and see how that feels for them. And also see where children in their other class are living as well. You know, sometimes that can be a factor that families are able to work with to find what's right for them. Traffic can be bad in Bali. And so Green School families have been pretty good at finding areas where they're not tackling too much traffic on a daily basis. So there's a lot of inside intel here in the community. When families join us, once they're enrolled, we really connect them up with the existing parent body here in the school, and we run sessions on living in Bali. And we ask older parents that have been here for a while to come along and share their knowledge, and also create ways that you can connect directly with them to get insights into that. But we have a whole guide on living in Bali, and we have a panel discussion and an information session on living in Bali, thriving in Bali. Actually, we call it, we want to do better than living, where we cover housing as well. So not sure that's helped particularly in your case, but I think Sanur would be a long drive. That would be my assessment of that. Yep. Okay, next question. And I just want to say before we get to this one, because we're just about at the end of things, these have been great questions. So I've done a lot of these virtual open days. These have been really good questions, and you've sent a bunch of them through. And so I really appreciate that. Get Pat and Emily working this afternoon with some tricky questions. So good job, everyone. Okay, this is from Trish asking, how does engagement happen between students from grade 1 to 12? So I think this is about like what are the opportunities or connection points between the older students and the younger students. Pat, do you want to kick us off with that?
Yeah, so right at the start I mentioned the GSSA, the Green School Student Association. So that's our high school students, student leaders. What we had last term, we had the lower school student leaders come up to visit the class. So it's a really special time where they explain to the high schoolers what initiatives they've been working on and how can the high schoolers support. And what was so good about it was it also works in reverse. So our high schoolers then presented to lower school, and they were able to give suggestions to the high schoolers on what they could do. So it does go right the way through, not only through student leadership projects and classes, but also through the capstone projects, through the Greenstone, through Quest, through Footprints, and soon to be Fingerprints. There's just really great collaboration in those spaces too. So we have a lot of students that are just such experts in their own fields that sometimes we have high schoolers actually go in and share their expertise with some of our middle school students and might co-teach a class with a teacher. So we're really trying to continually build that student relationship across the whole school.
Yeah, nice. And nice examples. And just those Greenstones, Quest, Footprints, Fingerprints, these are the capstone projects, the individual projects that students work on at the end of early years, primary, middle and high school. So those graduating classes. So just to do the help with the translation again. So they are often a natural point for connections, older students mentoring, providing advice to younger students. So yeah, it's really great. And I think just in a kind of ongoing, almost organic way, Emily, you know, we find these opportunities to connect older students to younger students without it being like forced or kind of, you know, artificial in some ways, but where we might be doing something alongside each other where we can bring it together. And in fact, right behind you, Emily, where you're sitting, is a food forest that was planted by a grade 12 class, my son's graduating class, my youngest, when he graduated a couple of years ago. His class, his grade 12 friends joined with our geckos, which are our youngest students, our 3-year-olds, to plant a food forest garden as a kind of legacy piece together, which is beautiful. I always have a little moment when I walk past the food forest there, but just finding those little connection points too, where our older students, Pat, really rise to it. You know, you see the maturity, that feeling that I'm being a role model here. They really kind of step up into that. And of course, for our younger students, it's a real novelty and it's exciting. Teenagers are fun. And also it's great not to be scared of them, because teenagers can be a lot sometimes too. So it's beautiful to see those connections.
Yeah, we also have the to-man program
in
the lower school as well, which I can just briefly mention, where our primary students get to be the older leaders. So through to-man, we connect, we make meaningful connections between different classes. That might be a grade 5 class with kindy, or it might be grade 3 with grade 1. And that happens on a regular basis, and they're there to build relationships, learn from each other, be role models, share expertise, and that's quite a popular one as well.
Yeah, lovely. You know, Emily and Pat, a few years ago, I did a survey with high school students asking them what did they feel was the most impactful kind of ingredient in their green school experience. What had the most positive impact on them? And of course, you won't be surprised, but teachers were the number one. Every time I ask, it always is. Our teachers are so special at Green School. Our campus is amazing. Everything's like brilliant here, but it's always the teachers that bring it all to life and have such an impact with our learners. So of course they said teachers, but also in the top 3 was the fact that we're a pre-K to 12 school. So our older students actually love that piece. They love knowing that there are these younger children in their orbit, in their community. Young kids are funny. They're very funny, they're very amusing, they're very creative, and so it was really nice to see our older students really appreciating that in that way. I thought that was really beautiful. Yeah. And of course our campus is designed in a way where we have learning neighbourhoods, so early years have their own beautiful special space, primary have their own village, you know, high school and middle school have their kind of base camp here. But the campus was designed too for there to be these intersection points to really encourage that cross-community connection. So we want all our kids to be safe at all times, but also we do want to support community connections and build that culture and build that sense of being a family. And so it's been very intentional in the design here in the campus. So my friends, I think we're almost coming to a close. So friends out there, you have just about 1 minute or so. If you've got a final question, now is your chance. Open up the chat and pop that question in there. We can grab 1 or 2 more before we wrap up here, but we are getting to the end. So Emily, any final thoughts from you? What is something perhaps that you think people don't necessarily know about Green School?
Well, actually, I've been a little distracted as you've been sharing, because in the background I can hear our teachers in the voices rehearsals. So maybe this is an opportunity to mention that our very special educators are also working towards a performance that will be happening in relation to V-Day. I'm not sure I can go into the details of it now, but they are there to amplify voices that are often unheard, and they are introducing music, and there's all sorts of pieces that are going to be shared for our adult community. So that's something that you wouldn't know if you weren't here, I guess. It's an inspiring evening.
Amazing. I mean, our teachers are just such fascinating humans, you know. They have so many dimensions to them, and our students often will describe them as feeling like it's more like a friendship than a teacher. And I think there's been very intentional kind of dismantling of the traditional kind of power structure between the teacher and the student, but in a way that is always still about, you know, respect for each other and respect for the role of an educator in our world, but really understanding that they're there to support the whole child, the whole development. And kids see that. They see it, they feel it, they experience it, and they appreciate it. So I'm always so thankful for our teachers and the impact they had on my 3 children. Pat, any thoughts from you? What's something people might not know about Green School?
I think just the array of outside of campus opportunities that we do have. You spoke at the start about what was my highlight of the day. Another highlight was the service trip Jalan-Jalans that are taking place at the moment in high school. So in March, we will be going off to 8 different destinations across Indonesia, mainly in Bali, but beyond as well. So we had many people come in today to meet the class and talk to them about what their community needs. It was just really beautiful to see that take shape today, and I know it happens all over the school in many different ways. So
brilliant. So these are partnerships that the school has established with different organisations, environmental or community organisations that are here trying to improve life for all living things somehow or some way here in Bali or beyond. And so they're partnering with us for our high school students service learning trips coming up. Yeah.
Two of those trips are student led. So they're so passionate about these
Amazing.
Projects that they have decided they want to run the Jalan Jalan and the service trip. Of course, teachers are helping them along the way, but magical thing that I've not seen before.
Great. Are you signing me up for one? I'll come along and help,
Yeah,
Pat.
I'll speak
Sign
to you
me
about
up.
that after. Yeah.
Sign me up. I want to go and work on the seaweed in Nusa Penida or something, the seagrass, or I don't know, something, the sharks in Gili. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. It looks like we have one more question coming in about visas. And thank you so much for that question. I will give that a short, sharp answer because there are several different visa options. All students enrolled in the school get a student visa, so they are all sorted. And for parents, you get, there are a few different options in terms of the visa. Really depends on what is going to suit you best. The school has a visa agent that we work with. That's our preferred agent, and we recommend to families who can help step you through all the different options there. We have, I think it's 46 different nationalities at Green School. Most of our expat families that are here have moved to Bali to join the school. So we have all navigated the visa situation and it gets sorted out for everyone. So it can seem a little overwhelming, but there are options there and there's a service to help you with that. So I'll perhaps leave that one just there for the minute, but the students are sorted and parents, there's support for you on the visa front. All right, I think that brings us just about to a wrap for today's session. I'm going to thank you, our friends out there, in just a minute. But before I do that, thank you, Emily. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I know it's like you just want to be with the students, but it's nice to step out every now and then and spend some time doing something different. And nobody knows lower school better than you. So really appreciate you being here today.
Thanks, Kate.
And Pat, you too. I know you're a busy person all the time. So thank you for giving us some time today as well.
No problem. Pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely brilliant. I also want to thank our production team that are on the other side of the cameras here who make all of this work and make it easy for us just to turn up and have a chat. Before we go, please do stay in touch with us. If you can come to Bali, I'm here, Pat's here, Emily's here, we're all here. We'd love to see you, we'd love to meet you and show you around our amazing campus, share a little bit more. So please let the admissions team know if you can come and pay a visit at any time. Otherwise, please stay in touch with admissions, keep the conversation going if you would like to. Yeah, we hope it's been helpful today. We wish you all the very best, and I think that's it from us to all of you out there. Whatever is left of your day, have a great one. Bye-bye.